But anyway, over to Angus.
Sure. So I'm Angus Macdonald, and I love living in South Brighton with my wife Janet, who you've just heard obviously, and our 3 children. I'm also director of a consulting engineering company in Christchurch. When we told my 6-year-old son this morning we were presenting to council today, he said, "I hope you didn't get fired from New Zealand, Dad." But he thought we could just drive to Africa if that happened. With Janet and a number of people in New Brighton, you've obviously just addressed that question, but we sort of shook our heads in despair when we read the annual plan submission form. Out of dozens of recreational sports facilities with proposed funding in the plan, there was only one project which received a specific mention, and that was the New Brighton Hot Saltwater Pools project. Along with Janet and hundreds of residents in New Brighton East, and I do hope, and you've also addressed that as well, the whole of Christchurch, I wish to give my full support for the New Brighton Hot Saltwater Pools project and the additional $11.2 million funding for this project. I also support reinstatement of recreational facilities along the coastal and estuary edge, the work to repair the estuary edge protection, and the implementation of the New Brighton Master Plan. I also agree with some of the comments made today that communication about what is happening and what the council is doing has not been the best. I believe that if people were more aware and were kept more informed, this would relieve a measure of anxiety that nothing is happening. I do want to make the comment though that the in-ground infrastructure, yes it's money spent, but I don't see that pulling that out and say, hey, we spent this money repairing your sewers. I don't agree with that as an investment. The whole of Christchurch has had that issue, so I don't think you can pull that out and say, hey, look what we've done, New Brighton, we fixed your drainage. So I'd just like to make that comment. But I just did want to briefly recap the progress of the New Brighton Master Plan. I read that it was created in April 2012, at least the current version, and over the next 3 years there were numerous revisions, follow-up investigations and new drafts, with the plan adopted by the council in March 2015. So in 2 years, what tangible progress have we seen? We've had a mural painted on the mall concrete, we've got some new rubbish bins, and we got the tiny huts. Don't get me wrong, we love the new bins, but 2 years, it doesn't seem like we have a lot to show for it. As I mentioned, and as discussed by an earlier submitter, I also support work to repair the estuary edge to South New Brighton and South Shore, and I note your comments about the red zone, what's happening and whether you can build on it and what the story is, but I'm particularly impressed with the South Shore Inundation Protection Levy as detailed in the OCEL report as proposed by the South Shore Residents Association. I'd just like to make the note that the cost of it was estimated about $9 million, or around $18,000 per property protected, compares quite favourably to the $57,000 per property for the Beachful Road seawall, and the $82,000 per property for the Dudley Creek Flockton Basin flood mitigation works, which I actually don't recall being asked my opinion on. I'm heartened to hear today that the estuary edge protection is under consideration, but again, it goes back to my earlier comment about the communication of these things. I do want to end on a positive note and say I'm very pleased the rebuild of the South Brighton jetty is underway, and we've recently been advised that the South Brighton boardwalk is to be repaired. We love the boardwalk, it's fantastic. I run along the estuary every week, and to have that repaired will be fantastic. But we must build the momentum. I don't want to be here in a year's time lamenting more inaction or perceived inaction and procrastination. The time for consultation is over, and we want to see progress on what has been promised.
Very good. Sarah?
Thank you, and I think the communications over what is happening are really important, and I think you're right about the drainage stuff. That's just kind of, it's stuff that had to happen, like it did actually in Flockton, and that was consulted on. But the thing, what I hear from people, what I see in the Pegasus Post, what I hear from friends when I go and visit them in Brighton, those kind of things, isn't always the build us something new. For the most part, it's the fix what's broken. You know, it's that fix the street, fix the Stuff Pages Road, fix our footpaths, get all of that kind of stuff. And it seems like that's the stuff that you drive past, that you walk past every day, that seems to be bringing people down.
Yeah, I mean...
And would it be better, because I was surprised not to see that in the petition, and would it be better to maybe bring forward and fast forward all of the funding to get the stuff that's broken that you see every day fixed.
Well, that would be
first.
nice, but I mean, it's kind of like our house. We look past that now. It's been so long, you kind of just ignore it. I mean, I'm dodging potholes not potholes, the raised manholes on Marine Parade and South Marine Parade every day. But
But if they
you're
were-
right, it gets you down,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
you can't focus on that because then you'd be in a constant state of depression. So I guess we want to focus on the new stuff because I guess we figure that the manholes in the roads will be repaired eventually, and that's great. What we want is we would like some new stuff. I mean, I love toys. I don't get
It's
me wrong.
just apart from the petition, what I hear day to day from people is just fix the broken stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
fully agree. Yeah.
Yeah. Make the place look nice. We want it to look
Yes.
nice
Put that
like other
together.
suburbs do.
Exactly.
It's, higher maintenance, good footpaths, that kind of stuff is what I hear day to day,
Yep.
as opposed to just the annual plan process. So, yeah.
Yep. Look, thank you very much and much appreciated. Can I call on